Hi everybody, welcome to another week of Makers Monday. I am Anastasia Radloff, aka Stampin' Blondie, and I'm really excited to be here with you for another week of live step-by-step crafting. Now last week I took the day off because it was a holiday, so I had the day off for my day job. But this week I'm back and I'm excited to continue my Valentine's Day crafting series. Now let me just make sure that I'm live here on Facebook and YouTube. If you're watching, make sure to comment, say hi, let me know where you're joining me from. It's fun to always see where everybody is joining each week. If you are watching here on Facebook or YouTube doing replay, make sure to comment replay and let me know that you were able to join in. So looks like I am live on Facebook. Sometimes YouTube is a little slow, so we'll see how that goes. All right, it looks like I'm live, so hopefully everything is good. Hopefully, it looks like I'm frozen. There we go. Not frozen. Okay, it was just my internet. Hi, Diana. Hi, Carol, Tanya. It's great to see you all. Thank you for joining me today. Now today I have 3 projects for you featuring the Love For You bundle from the January to April mini catalog. It's kind of a deviation from my Makers Monday Facebook post that I had scheduled out through the end of April. So I kind of switched it up a little bit this week, but it's still really exciting and I'm looking forward to crafting with you today. Now, I just realized as I sat down here, I forgot to pull names for this week's Prize Patrol. I can't believe I forgot to pull. But the winner for Prize Patrol this week, the Prize Patrol, will be a full package. Well, it's not a full package. It's half a package. This is the, you won't receive this one. I used this one for myself, but you'll receive a half a package of the new Host Designer Series paper from the January to April mini catalog. Now, like I said, I forgot to pull a name for last week's winner, so I will make sure to do that. But if you're interested in entering into this week's Prize Patrol, all you have to do is share this video, comment that you shared, and then you'll be entered into Prize Patrol for this week. So you won't receive this package because obviously I've used it already, but you'll receive a half package of that new Designer Series paper. Now that is a Host Stampin' Rewards exclusive item, so you can't buy it outright. So it is a really fun spring kind of Designer Series paper. Oh, hi Jill. She says greetings from the snowy Northwest Ohio or Northeast Ohio. That just sounds way too cold for me. I will tell you, Tucson this morning got snow flurries. Lasted about 20 seconds and it didn't really stick on the ground, but that's my kind of winter. Perfect kind of winter. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to remind everybody, like I do each week, is our celebration is going on. So celebration is Stampin' Up's biggest event that we now host once a year at the beginning of each year. For every $50 you purchase, you get to choose an item out of this celebration brochure. There is everything from stamp sets, exclusive Designer Series paper, and the best part is that some of these items coordinate with our products from our mini catalog. There's some really fun On the Farm Designer Series paper. There's some floral paper that coordinates with a stamp set. So I'm very excited because our February Club Craft and Create, I can't believe I'm planning for February already. February's Club Craft and Create will feature the Designer Series paper in here. And so I am going to be doing the announcement for that later this week to register for that event. All right, also, if your wish list is longer than $99, don't forget our Stampin' Up promotion for celebration to become a demonstrator. Now, demonstrator can be kind of a scary word, but you're not required to host any events, teach classes, or even sell products. But if your wish list is long, make sure to take a peek at the sign up promotion for Celebration. Now there are 3 different options. The first one is you can choose this really adorable, I gotta get it in the camera. It's backwards, so I'm like, which way am I going? This is the Boho Blue Mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Boho Blue is actually gonna be one of our 2023-2025 Stampin' Up! In colors. So this is only available to new demonstrators during Celebration. You can choose $175 worth of Stampin' Up! Product, receive the Boho Blue Mini Machine, and all for $129. Now, if blue is not your color, you can always go for the traditional white mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Same thing for this, $175 worth of product, your choice, plus the machine for $129. So you can choose some dies, some embossing folders, stamps, paper, inks, whatever you would like to do for that. Now, if you already own the machine, you can always do the option without the machine. You get to choose $175 worth of product for $99. So this is the best offering, like I mentioned, if your wish list is long or if you are wanting to get a discount off your future orders. Once again, no pressure to sell, teach classes. About 98% of the people on the Stampin' Blondie team are what I like to call happy shoppers. They get their items at a discount. And we have events for both here in Tucson and across the United States. So no matter where you are, you can still join us for our events. So I would love to have you on the Stampin' Blondie team. If you have questions about what it means to become a demonstrator, I am more than happy to answer any questions you may have. All right, let's go ahead and swap the camera and we will get into this week's quick announcements that I've got here. The first one actually is my Spring Creative Retreat. I announced this last week. This is a dual hosted Tucson demonstrator event. Myself and Butter Dish Designs. She is a local Tucson demonstrator as well. We pair up and do creative retreats, both in person and also virtually. So no matter, again, where you live in the United States, you can join us for some crafting. Our in-person event will be held on February 25th. That's a Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. So a full day of crafting. You will have a goodie product bag with some projects, and we also will be featuring the two-tone flora. This is a whole suite. I didn't want to pull everything out, but there is a stamp set, there's dies, some beautiful designer series paper, embellishments, ribbon. So all of our projects will be centered around the two-tone flora stamp set and suite. And you can register for this in person. We have about 10 seats left for the in-person event. Retreat to go, unlimited options for that is open. So the deadline to register is February 3rd. So coming up, I think end of next week. So we have just about 2 weeks to register for our Spring Creative Retreat. That will be held on Saturday, February 25th. Now, one of the options for that retreat is an add-on class featuring my absolute favorite stamp set in the entire mini catalog. This is called Taco Fiesta. I love this. It has sentiments, it has images to go with it, and these funny little sentiments like spectacular, like tacos, long time no taco, holy guacamole, it's your birthday. Just some fun sentiments to go along with the stamp set. So this is an add-on class to our Spring Creative Retreat. The deadline to register for that is February 3rd. All right, let's jump into our projects today. I am going to be featuring on page 11 of our mini catalog the Love For You stamp set and dies. Now here is the stamp set. This is a photopolymer stamp set. Here's the dies, but most of them I have out because we're going to be using them. The Love For You stamp set includes 20 stamps, photopolymer, so completely see-through and clear. You can see exactly where you're stamping. Now, this is kind of a fun stamp set because the dies are nesting dies. So you can cut out single words like our project here where we just cut out the sentiment, or you can do layering with the sentiment. Here, I'll get it a little closer, you can see. We're gonna do some fun layering, and this uses 3 different dies to go along with this. And then our other project here features that designer series paper. That is our prize patrol item here today. So these are the 3 projects that we are going to be working on. Now, as a reminder, you can get the Makers Monday projects in my weekly class to go. All you have to do is place a Stampin' Up order of $35, and I will send you the make and take projects today for free. If you place an order of $50 or more, our embellishment of the week is the rhinestone basic jewels. Now you can see I love these jewels. I've used almost all of them, but you'll get a free entire brand new package of jewels. You just have to use the host code that is at the bottom of your screen when checking out, and $50 or more gets you a celebration item as well. So just another kind of step up for placing that $50 order. Right. Also on my website, stampinblondie.com, posted 6 a.m. every Monday morning with Makers Monday. We have our project PDF tutorial. This has all of the item names, numbers, and the prices of all the projects. There's a front and a back side, as well as the dimensions for all 3 projects that I am going to be making here today. So don't forget the back side. There's that 3rd project down there, and then all of the items that I'll be using on our projects here today. All right, well, I think that's it. So let's go ahead and get started with our projects. We are gonna work on this project here first. Now this features Blackberry Bliss, and I'm glad you guys can see. So we're gonna kind of create our own textured background here with the heart scalloped punch. Now this actually comes in a combo pack, so you get the regular smooth heart and also the scalloped heart together, and they nest. The smooth heart fits inside the scalloped heart. So these work together, but today we're just gonna use the scalloped heart here. And in your class kit this week, we have a piece of Blackberry Bliss cardstock, a color I don't tend to often use very often, but it's fun to kind of get out of your comfort zone there a little bit. This is cut to 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2, and I'm going to use my bone folder here to crisp up my line. And we're just gonna place that off to the side for a minute. Now I have a piece of Blackberry Bliss cardstock, and we're gonna use our heart punch and just punch a couple hearts out here. And we're gonna use these to create our own textured background. Now this is a fun kind of simple technique that whatever kind of skill level you have, it doesn't matter, anybody can do this. So I'm just gonna kind of guesstimate on how many hearts. We'll just do 1 more, just to be safe. All right, so we're gonna take our hearts, and on the background of our Blackberry Bliss, we're just gonna lay them out first, that first row of hearts. So I wanna make sure that that middle heart is kind of just lined up right there, right in the middle. Now I'm gonna use my multi-purpose liquid glue to glue these down, and we're gonna start with just adding a little bit of glue to the back half of one of the hearts and glue that right down to our card base. So you'll see that some of our hearts are gonna stick off the edge. That's okay, that's what we want. And we're gonna use these as our guide to create the rest of our background here. So just go down the row. Now our next row, so we have our 3 hearts right across the front there. Now our next row, we're gonna place 2 hearts in between those top layers. So it's gonna be nestled right in between. So we'll add these right down here. Again, a little piece is gonna hang off the edge. That's quite all right. And we're just creating a fun, easy, textured background. Now our last row here, oh look, I cut out just the exact amount of hearts that I need. Now our last row, we're just gonna kind of line these up with our top row so they're all squared up with each other. And we're just gonna nestle those right in between. And again, a little bit less glue on this one. So just the corner will fit. Here we go. So we have some visitors with me in the craft room today. I've got 3 little puppy dogs. Normally they're not in the craft room while I do Makers Monday, but my husband is gone. So I figured they won't be barking or making too much noise in here for now. All right, so there is our fun little, it's subtle. You don't want it to be overpowering. That's why I did tone on tone. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip the whole thing over. We're gonna take our scissors and we're just gonna trim along the edge so that our hearts are flush with the side of our card base. And normally I would use bigger scissors for this, but I didn't grab those out before I set up my computer to see all your guys' comments off to the side. Hello, Cheryl. Hi, Carol. Thanks for joining today. I hope you guys like my projects. All right, we're gonna go down the edge here and just trim up those overhanging pieces of punch. And there we go. So you've created a fun background. I'm gonna kind of tilt it so you guys can see the background in there, but it's just scalloped hearts. It's subtle background, not too overpowering, and it just gives it a fun little texture there. All right, our sentiment. So we're gonna use this So Much Love stamp. Now this is one stamp, but when we die cut it, it'll be 3 separate pieces. So the die actually cuts out all 3 words. So you don't have to use all 3 if you don't want to. You could just use the love. You could do so much love if you wanted to do more, but we're just gonna use the So Much Love as the stamp is. So I'm gonna use Blackberry Bliss ink to do just more tone on tone kind of. And we're gonna ink this up really well. Make sure I got everything inked up and stamp right on a piece of basic white cardstock. And this is just a scratch piece of paper that I had. I like to keep my significant sized scratch pieces of paper because you can use them for projects like this. All right, our die. Let me get this out. So quick tip, I found this. This is actually from, if you guys have a store called Harbor Freight, it's like a, it's a hardware store. So the hardware store has these are made for like car parts, but it's magnetic, so you can put your dies in it. They're not gonna get accidentally thrown away. It's very easy. Carmen asked, where do I find the punches? The punches are in our annual catalog. So they are a punch combo pack. Like I mentioned, they come with the light or the regular heart and then the scalloped heart in one combo pack, punch pack. They come together. All right, so I put the die on top and I use some washi tape just to hold it in place because we don't want that die to move around as we run it through our die cut machine. So today we're gonna use that boho blue mini machine, and we are gonna use, these are my old plates. So you get brand new plates, but these are the plates that I've had. I don't wanna use my new ones just yet. But we're gonna run through our So Much Love, but then also on our card, we have this little heart. So we're gonna die cut that as well at the same time. So I just have a piece of Blushing Bride cardstock. Again, just a scratch paper. This works perfectly for that. And my little heart die should be right here. So this is the best way to keep your dies organized on your desktop and that you don't lose them. Some of these dies can get very small, so they get swept away pretty easily. All right, we're gonna run our dies through. The crunching and cracking is normal. It's gonna make that noise. It's cutting the paper, but it's not harming your machine. All right, there we go. Since this is a new machine, it's kind of harder to close. I haven't used it as much, but it'll work great. Our plates, and gotta put that little teeny die back in our tray or it'll get lost. All right, Andrea says she likes the stamped hearts in the background. Thank you. It's just a subtle little way to give some fun background. And like I said, super easy. You don't have to have any skills to be able to punch. All right, so we're gonna take out, so like I mentioned, it's one stamp, but it punches or die cuts out 3 different sentiment pieces. So you could just use the love or whatever combination you want. We're gonna add some dimensionals to the back, and for these, I'm choosing to use mini dimensionals. These are very small, and the mini dimensionals work perfectly on this. So we're gonna put one about there. If you don't have many dimensionals, you can take regular Stampin' Dimensionals and just cut them in half, or cut them in thirds, and that'll work just as well. Right, and then one on the back of that little heart. So we're gonna start with the word much first. That'll be our point of reference for our love and so. So we're gonna start there, and that is just gonna go right there. We're gonna start with at the top and then work our way down. So we have so, and that'll just kind of nestle right in there. And then love is gonna go underneath the M. It works, kind of just fits right in there. And the little heart will go next to it right there. Oh, actually, I didn't add a dimensional to my sample project under the heart, the pink heart, but we'll leave it since it's already on there. All right, Wink of Stella glitter brush. Probably one of my favorite embellishments that we have. Wink of Stella glitter brush, if you aren't too familiar with what this is, it is a glitter brush that is amazing. I don't have any loose glitter in my craft room. If you followed along with my videos before, you know my husband is active duty military. Glitter is very, very bad if it gets on military uniforms because it's very hard to get off. And so with Wink of Stella, I can just brush on the glitter and not have to worry about any loose glitter in my craft room. So I just added a little bit of sparkle and shine to that pink heart down there. We're gonna use some white baker's twine, about 8 inches, 7, 8 inches long. And I'm taking 2 pieces of that and we're gonna tie that into a bow, just to give a little bit of texture on here. I chose not to do a heavy ribbon on this because I wanted my sentiment to really be the focus of the project. So you saw I took the twine and kind of pulled it between my fingers. That helps straighten it out and makes it a lot easier to tie into a bow. There we go. And then you can kind of hold the edges and pull them together to create the size that you want. And then when you got it, pull it tight, and you can take all 4 tails and cut at the same time. Now to add this down, I'm gonna use my, right here, mini glue dots. I like mini glue dots because I don't have to wait for anything to dry. I don't have to run the risk of using too much glue. So I take my mini glue dot, kind of roll it into a ball, and then adhere my ribbon to my card. Now as a final touch, I'm gonna use those rhinestone basic jewels. Now I will be using 3 of the small jewels, but these do come in 3 different sizes, small, medium, and large. You can see I loved the medium ones so much. I used them all already. So we're just gonna add a couple of these rhinestones to give a little bit of some sparkle. And that is our first project today with the Love for You bundle. Very fun with that background of the hearts. If I tilt it, you can see it a little better. Tone on tone, very easy, and not a lot of oomph, I guess. I just want to say it's not too much. It's not overpowering. That's what I'm trying to say. Very simple and very pretty. So I hope you guys like that first project here today. All right, let's move on to our second project. Now this one has a little bit more stepped up to it here today. So we will need our plates. So I'm just gonna put them off to the side here. So this project, we're gonna be doing a little bit of die cutting, and I'll show you how to do this fun kind of layering technique with 3 different pieces of cardstock. Now for this project, we have a piece of fresh freesia cardstock, and this paper, this designer series paper, is one of our celebration choices. So it is called the Dainty Designs Designer Series paper. You get 48 sheets of 12 by 12 designer series paper, so a huge pack. And it has more of some spring and pastel-y type designer series papers. All right, we are going to first add our piece of basic white cardstock to our fresh freesia cardstock base. 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Don't forget, all those dimensions are on that free project PDF tutorial on my website. So we're just gonna add that right here. Now, I did want to give everybody a heads up. In about 2 weeks, my website is going to be getting a complete overhaul. It's been about 6 months in the making, so I'm very excited. So more details, but there may be a little bit of, there may be like a day of downtime where I don't have everything up because it's switching to the new platform. All right, so we've got our designer series paper, and that's just gonna go right across the middle here of our card. So now this is my Valentine's Day crafting series that I'm continuing today, but the projects that I'm creating are, while they're Valentine's Day, they're not all your traditional reds and pinks. So this one is petal pink and fresh freesia. So like Andrea said, not your traditional Valentine's Day colors, but I still wanted to be able to create some Valentine's Day cards. Now the stripes here, the opposite side, we're gonna add our designer series paper down the middle of our card, and that will go right there. All right, to build our sentiment piece here, I'm gonna move our card base off to the side, and I'm gonna bring in 3 pieces of cardstock: petal pink, basic white, and fresh freesia. Now for our fresh freesia, I have adhered this to our Stampin' Up! Adhesive sheets. Now what this is they come in 3 sections, one bigger sheet here. And what it is you peel off the backing and stick your cardstock to this adhesive sheet. Now I trim it down so I don't waste the pieces that I'm not using, but it creates a sticky backing, and you can die cut at the same time. So it makes it a sticker when you run it through the die cut machine. So we're gonna do that right now. So the dies that we're gonna use first, we're going to take our, where'd I put my plates? Right here. We're gonna take our piece of fresh freesia with that adhesive on the backing. So it's not sticky right now. Right now it just has a backing on it, but when I run it through and peel the backing off, then it'll be sticky. So we're gonna use the same sentiments that we used on our last project, So Much Love. So there's the much, and here's the love, and the so you're just gonna run it through like a normal, like you're die cutting just a regular piece of cardstock. Now this is found in our annual catalog, and it it's $10, I think, and you get quite a few sheets. Like I have a lot of adhesive sheets because I barely use it, but when you need it, it's good to have, especially with these very thin dies here. All right, we're gonna put these back in our holder there so we don't lose anything. And you can see these are very thin words, so I'm just gonna be careful when I pull these out that I don't stretch the letters, but then also that I don't tear any of the letters. So, and if you notice that some of your word may be stuck, you may need to run it through your machine twice. It just depends on how thick your machine cuts. Every machine is different, so you may need a shim. It just depends on how your machine works. So I'm just gonna pull out these thin words here just so I don't get them ripped. So again, still not sticky just yet. And we're not gonna pull off the backing until we're ready for it. So I'm just gonna put these off to the side. Now I'm gonna die cut my piece of petal pink cardstock. And with that, we're gonna do this big outline. This is gonna be the base for our words. So I'm just gonna die cut this, run it through. So we've got our petal pink base, and we can put that off to the side. And then the last piece, our basic white cardstock. We are gonna do a little bit of building on this one. So we're gonna take that big one that we just die cut, and then also the one that we just used for our previous project that said "so much love." And we're gonna nestle these together, make sure all the border around it is even. Just move that more towards the middle of our base here. Get it where I want it set up. And I'm gonna use washi tape to hold the two dies in place. This is gonna ensure when I run it through the machine that they're not gonna move, and I've got it exactly where I want it. And now run these two through the machine. Again, crunching and cracking, it's okay. Okay, and we can put our machine off to the side. There we go. Now washi tape, if you've never worked with washi tape before, you just want to be careful when you peel it off because it is paper tape and it can rip your paper. So you just want to be careful not to pull it off too fast. But we're going to punch out these pieces, and now we've made a frame to go on our petal pink piece. So this is a really fun die set. You can kind of do a variety of different ways to die cut the sentiments. I like that it's not just one set way to die cut a word. All right, we're gonna adhere all of our stuff together now. So we've got our outline, and we're just gonna use some multi-purpose liquid glue, just thin amounts. And you don't have to go around the whole thing, just kind of key areas where you want it to be glued down. So just a little bit there. You don't want to put too much because you don't want the glue to ooze out. But we're going to create our little frame here. And this just lines up around the outside, and I'm going to kind of hold it into place just to make sure it all adheres together and I can kind of hold everything down at once. So here is the beginning part of our little frame, and you can see where the words are going to go here now. All right, these teeny tiny thin words. Now we have that adhesive backing on it, so we don't have to use any type of liquid glue, because even with our fine tip glue pen, if you try to add glue to the back of this, you're just going to get glue everywhere because it is so thin. Now, a trick with these adhesive sheets is I like to take my Take Your Pick tool, and with the pointed end, you can just kind of pick at the adhesive and it'll come right off the cardstock, and you can peel it right off. And you just, again, because these are so thin, you just want to be very careful as you peel it off. And now it's sticky. So it has that adhesive already on the back, and you don't have to add any adhesive. Now with our this is going to be our template basically. We're going to add our words right to the middle of that. And I don't want to pull this off my fingers too much because it can tear the paper if I'm not too careful. But I need 2 hands to glue this down. So just right in the middle, you're going to line up your words and just move down that piece. Now I got a lot of glue on my finger there, so it's kind of sticky. But just move it down and you're just going to frame out your word. And just line it up in the middle. So there is how we're creating that fun frame to our background. So now our other 2 words, we've got so and love, and it will cut out, it will cut out these little negative spots, or it won't cut them out. So you just have to kind of use your take your pick tool and punch out those little pieces. And then again, with your take your pick tool, just kind of pick at that adhesive and it'll come right off. Now, when I demonstrated in Anaheim during the Stampin' Up! Convention in November, I used these adhesive sheets on our Alphabet Alamodes dies. These are the new dies as well from our mini catalog, and these adhesive sheets worked really well for those letters as well. Here's actually, these are the dies. I have a missing eye that fell off, but these were the dies that I demonstrated, and I used adhesive sheets to adhere all of those to that little paper that I showed everybody the dies on. All right, we're gonna peel off our word, and that's just gonna layer right in the middle here down our template. So we're just gonna use that as a guide to fill it in. And there is our So Much Love little piece here. Let me get it in frame so you can see it. Now, you can do these with so many different color combinations. You can make the words kind of stand out a lot, but I wanted to use Petal Pink and Fresh Freesia because it coordinates with our card here. Now, on the back of this, I'm going to add dimensionals. I don't need many dimensionals for this. I can use regular because we have that backing of Petal Pink here. So that we'll just use regular dimensionals and peel that off and add it to the middle of our card. So make sure I got my card going the right way, and right there. Now our sentiment, we have a piece of basic white cardstock, little teeny tiny piece, and we're gonna use the sentiment that says Happy Valentine's Day and Fresh Freesia ink. So Valentine's Day is right around the corner. It's in about 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks. I know that because my husband's birthday is the day after Valentine's Day. And so he may be getting one of these Valentine's Day cards. He usually comes into my craft room and grabs a card that I made to give back to me for Valentine's Day. It's funny to see what he chooses each year. All right, on the back of that, because these are this is a thin sentiment, I'm gonna use my mini Stampin' Dimensionals. And then we're gonna add some more rhinestones on here as well. Is that crooked? That is crooked. Probably should put it on straight if this is gonna be the card that I could possibly get. All right, and then 3 of our rhinestones just to add, again, a little bit of sparkle to our card. And then right in the right corner. So there's our second project today with the Love for You bundle. I hope you guys liked this little layering. I thought that was really fun to be able to create with that. And it just has that fun pop of color to add to the project. So I hope you guys liked that one. Very fun to create. All right, and our last project today. I had to do a pink and red card, of course, because, I mean, it is Valentine's Day, so we had to do a pink and red card. Now, this one features the framed florets dies from our mini catalog as well. But this die, I've already pre-die cut that just because we're going to be die cutting the words. I didn't want to do more die cutting today. So we have a piece of Sweet Sorbet cardstock, and that designer series paper is from our designer series paper. That is our Prize Patrol this week. So a fun, here's the back side, a fun kind of floral designer series paper. Sweet Sorbet, like I mentioned, cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And we're gonna first add our designer series paper down to our card base. So, oh, I think I may be running out. There we go. Hopefully I didn't get it in my sleeve. All right, and that'll go right in the middle of our card. Now, what I like about liquid glue is if it's not in the exact spot right when you put it down, you have a few seconds to move your paper around. All right, there we go. Andrea said she made a card on Saturday at a card event that I liked so much. I told my friend I was gonna send it to myself for my birthday. Yes. So, fun fact, my birthday is on Wednesday. I am really excited. Am I doing anything for my birthday? No. My husband is out of town for work right now, so he won't be back for a couple more weeks, but that's okay. I'm still gonna maybe take myself out to dinner or something. I don't want to cook on my birthday. Who wants to do that? All right, so I added that oval to the card base here, and we are gonna do some stamping. Sweet Sorbet cardstock for a little bit of tone-on-tone stamping. This one, we're gonna use the sentiment that says, "For you." Now, just like that first card that we did, this die is going to cut out the words separately. So we have our "for" and "you," that'll be separate. So there we go. Hi, Barb. She says hello from Tucson. Barb, I'm in Tucson too. You should come to a class. I would love to have you at a class. All right, dies. We've got our "For You." If I can get it out. "For You" die. So we're gonna use our washi tape again to hold this into place so that when we run it through the machine that it doesn't shift and shimmy any of our dies around, and it'll cut exactly where we want it. So Connie said her birthday's next week. Andrea, is your birthday coming up too? You said you were gonna mail a card to yourself for your birthday, so maybe your birthday's coming up. But happy birthday to everybody. My best friend's birthday is on Friday, so I'm excited. We're very close in age too. Actually, we will be the same age. All right, we're gonna die cut our words here and run that through there. And I'm gonna leave the machine open because we're also gonna stamp some flowers and die cut those too. So we're gonna pull that apart, being careful with our washi tape. And you can see it die cuts 2 separate words out. So if you just want to use the word "you," you have that option, or you can use both. But this is more of a Valentine's Day card for a friend. So I just put the sentiment that has "friend" here. Now we're gonna stamp. These are kind of layering flowers on here, but we are just gonna use the outline of the flower and this little teeny tiny stamp. So be careful. These 2 stamps are very tiny and can get lost quite easily, but you can see how small it is. That's even our smallest block, and the block is big compared to the stamp. And the flower. Now the flower I'm going to stamp in Blushing Bride, and then Sweet Sorbet for the inside. So we're gonna stamp 2 flowers here. So we've got one flower and second flower. Now for our inside in a sweet sorbet, what I'm doing is I'm gonna take the little teeny tiny stamp, lightly tap it, and I'm gonna stamp off, so on the side, and then I'm gonna stamp in the middle. I don't want the inside of the flower to be too dark, so we're just going to stamp and there. So stamp off just to give a little bit light look to the inside of our flower. Now back to the pile of dies. We're going to die cut these. You'll definitely want to use washi tape with this, and you just kind of have to turn it until it lines up. There we go. And washi tape. My die cut machine is really getting a workout today. I'm glad these dies fit in the mini machine and I don't have to pull my shoulder out when I lift the machine back and forth into view each time. Do I find the tiny stamps don't stick well to the block? Actually, no. I haven't had any issues with my tiny blocks not sticking, or tiny stamps not sticking to my block. If you do have that issue, you can always run your stamp underwater, let it air dry, and then try adding it to your block again. Sometimes the oils on our hand transfer on to the photopolymer and make them they're not sticky stamps, but they just don't adhere to the block as well. Now when you're rinsing it with water, I highly suggest you put the stopper on your sink just in case your stamp falls off into the sink. But just take it, I wouldn't add soap or anything to your stamp, just rinse it with some water and let it air dry and see if that'll help. Okay, so we've got our two flowers that have been die cut, and that is garbage. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna adhere our sentiments. Now, again, with the back of these, because they're so small, we're gonna use our mini Stampin' Dimensionals, and just a couple of these fit in those larger sections of our area here. So we're gonna do the word you, and that's just gonna fit right in the middle of that oval, and the word for will fit there too. Now our flowers, we're gonna adhere one flower down with our liquid glue, and then a second flower is gonna go on with the dimensional. But we're also gonna add, this is the Sweet Sorbet 1/8 of an inch, so very, very thin, 1/8 of an inch metallic woven ribbon. Kind of a mouthful to say. But with this ribbon, it's fun because you can take the ends and kind of pull them apart just a little bit to create kind of a little flare at the end. So it's woven ribbon, so it peels apart quite easily, and you can give it a little bit of a design change to it. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip this second flower over, and I'm gonna use a regular Stampin' Dimensional. We're gonna peel the backing off, fold our ribbon, not completely in half, you wanna kind of offset it a little bit, and then we're gonna add it, which way do I want the flower to go? We're just gonna add that ribbon to the back of our Stampin' Dimensional, and then you can use that as the adhesive for the ribbon. So it just kind of does a double duty. It adheres the flower to the card and also the ribbon to the flower to the card. So it's really easy to be able to use your Stampin' Dimensionals in a different way there as well. Now our sentiment, the word friend, I just have a spare piece. You can see I was making more flowers. Just a spare piece of basic white cardstock, and our, again, teeny tiny sentiment. it says friend, but this love for you has anniversary, congratulations, thank you, there's that friend again. So it definitely has a bunch of occasions in one stamp set. So I like to get stamp sets that have multi-use to them, especially when it's kind of geared towards one holiday. If you can use it for longer than just that one holiday, that's more bang for your buck. So I just stamped that little sentiment on a piece of white cardstock, and I'm just gonna cut this out with scissors. Now on the PDF tutorial, this does not have a dimension for this sentiment piece because I just kind of freehand cut this out. So there's not an exact dimension for this. So you just take a spare piece of paper and cut it out. Now because it's so small, you definitely need to use liquid glue on the back there. And that's gonna go under the word for. And should be straight there as well. And then the last bit, our embellishment of the week, our basic rhinestone jewels. We're gonna add a large one in the lower right and a small one right next to it. And that is our third project today, featuring the Love for You bundle from our January to April mini catalog. So I hope you guys like this one too. Again, traditional Valentine's Day colors. We had to do a red and pink card. All right, let me bring in all three projects that we worked on today. Let me know in the comments which one is your favorite. We have the traditional